conversation, as we might call it. If we just think of a simple little thing like this, what is exciting? How we speak to ourselves or how we speak in general will determine, like the language you use determines the direction. Yeah, so the language that we use in our daily lives, just even in what we might call casual conversation, is what's going to drive a lot of our behavior, right? As simple as is like what's exciting. If we tend to say, well, nothing really is exciting, it's the same old. You guys ever hear that from people, or do we ever use that yourselves? Same
Yeah.
old. If we continue to remind ourselves that it's just the same old story, nothing's exciting, there's nothing to look forward to, what that tells us, right? It tells us, whether we want or not, that there's nothing exciting to look forward to, which also means that when we get asked that question, or if you ask yourself that question again tomorrow, guess what the answer was going to be? The answer was the same.
Same old.
Yes. So I'll unmute you too, and I'll kind of keep it open, and then I'll mute you if I have to. But excuse me. So as we start to just speak and talk, these are like simple habits, right? Well, how do we get performance? And part of where we're going with this tonight is just, how do we guarantee like goals that we set and make sure we hit them, right? We all love setting goals. And so the direction we're going tonight is, we all set goals, we all have goals, we all have objectives and targets, and we all want to hit them, right? And we tell ourselves how much we want to hit them, and we could even have a plan, right? And it starts with simple little habits that we do, not necessarily that pertains just to golf, but just like in our daily lives, our daily conversations, and like again, like bringing up like what's exciting. Even if you have to fake it and say, "Oh my gosh, it's the most exciting day possible," and you got to start to reach and think like, "Oh my gosh, what happened today? What happened? What can I make exciting today?" Right? We start creating the excitement. We may not even use what's exciting. You might say like, what's outstanding today, what's great today, what is awesome today, right? We change out that word to something that you want to happen, right? So it's not by mistake that we feel the way that we do. And we, like, if we are in a better place, if I'm in an exciting, if I say like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting, it's exciting that I get to see you guys all and chat with you guys all this on our Zoom call tonight, our coaching call, it's so exciting. That puts me in a different place. That puts me in a different mindset. It gets me to think more in a different place. It gets me to deliver you guys a different type of experience than if I was like, well, it's the same old day, and yeah, we got our coaching call tonight, and I'm gonna teach you guys about some goal setting and making sure you totally different. Then if I'm excited, it's like, oh my gosh, the stuff I'm gonna share with you tonight is unbelievable. It's going to tell you exactly why you're going to hit the goals that you set. And it's going to tell you exactly why some of the goals you set aren't going to be hit. So you're going to have some really big decisions to make. Do I want to hit those goals, or do I not want to hit those goals? Do they mean a lot to me, or they don't? Right. And that's me being excited. Like, how exciting is it to be like, man, I want to set this huge goal, and then I want to hit it. And then I actually hit it. Right. Different place to see like, ooh, how awesome would that be if I had, how awesome would that be for you guys to learn how to set targets and goals and make sure you hit them every single time, as opposed to same old day, you know, hang out, summer, school's going to start soon. And, you know, I just didn't really do anything, but today I'm going to, you know, another day at the golf course, and I'm going to teach you guys about some goal setting today. Energy level and how we interpret information, how we take them in, is going to directly influence like our behavior and actions on what to do. So we look at habits. What are habits that are constantly happening that we can keep if they're good ones, and what habits do we need to get away from, reshape, restructure, reframe? So the simple little thing, just as like what's exciting doesn't turn into when we're playing on the golf course and you're about to tee off and you're telling yourself, man, it's just another day of golf, playing golf again. Totally different experience that you're going to have teeing off on the first tee box saying, man, I'm playing golf again. It's just a normal day versus, holy smokes, I practiced so much this week and I can't wait to see how I'm driving the ball. I can't wait to see how the shape of my ball looks. I can't wait to test out that new thing or that new swing tip or the new practice that I've been putting into play to see what it looks like on the golf course. Oh my gosh, like that putting that I just practiced the last 7 days or 10 days, like I get to finally see what that looks like on the golf course when I only have that one chance and I have to read the greens and put everything into play. Oh my gosh, could this be the day that I shoot my best score ever, right? Different experience as opposed to like, yeah, I'm just going to play again. Or remember, it's the language that we use. Like, I'm playing golf and I hit a shot that goes out of bounds, and like, oh man, sliced out of bounds again. It's just, typical day again. I always hit balls out of bounds. As to be like, versus, man, I hit it out of bounds. I was just practicing this all week. What did I do? What clicked for me on the driving range where I hit the last 1,000 golf balls on the range that made it not slice out of bounds? Totally different question gives you a totally different answer, right? And you can go one way and just say, just another ordinary day, and accept the fact you went out of bounds and just say like, well, it's probably going to go out again. I'm probably going to slice. I'm probably going to top it. I'm probably going to miss these short little putts just because it's just that type of day, versus like, oh my gosh, I've been working so hard at this. What is the thing that I'm missing right now? What little shift can I make right now to like totally make this round turn around? Was there another time that I started off kind of rough, or in the middle of my round it was kind of like it went sideways or something happened and like all of a sudden it clicked and I turned it around? What did that look like? Right? And so again, like a simple little thing in a little conversation, like what's exciting today, stems and follows you in all the decisions, all the language that we start to speak to ourselves, and even the language that we speak with other people. So some of the things that you may hear tonight, you may have heard before. And if you did that, like, don't tune out, take those in as like, I'm bringing them back. I'm reminding you of them. I'm going over them again because it's about repetition. It's about hearing it. And it's not so much about understanding. If you're hearing it, that means it's extremely important. All right. These little shifts that we put into play are huge because a lot of times things make sense, but if they make sense and we don't know how to apply them, or if they make perfect sense and we're not applying them, then we don't get the results that we want. We don't get the golf game we want. We don't get the social life that we want. We don't get the grades and the academics we want, right? One of my favorite quotes from one of our like coaches and mentors, Brendan Burchard, he says all the time, common sense is not always common practice. So again, he says, common sense is not always common practice. That means we know a ton of things that make sense, but we're not putting them in practice. And that is the reason why it's so slow to get the result we want, or we go backwards, or we stop moving and we don't go forward, and we get frustrated and we don't know where to go. And, we get all the stress and anxiety that we wish it was better, right? If you ever get into a place like, man, I've been working on my golf game, I've been working on my studies, I've been working on this for so long, and I thought I would have been further along by now, right? That is a sign that you know what you're supposed to be doing, but it's not in practice. Like, you're not doing it as a common discipline. So some of the things that you're going to hear tonight, you'll be like, yeah, I heard that before, and I'm not. And if you're kind of getting yourself in that place where like, yeah, I know that, I heard that, that's like the trigger that says, that's Aki challenging me to let me know that I understand it, but where can I find in parts of my golf game, in parts of my life, in parts of like everything, that I'm not applying things that I already know. So anytime you hear that, that is like the trigger. Like, I already know that is like the trigger to say, if I already know that, I'm hearing it again, must be very important, which means there's somewhere in my life, in my golf game, that I could be extracting more value and delivering more value in that, right? So again, be open and listen to things as you hear them for the first time. I can tell you that, like, I've attended events, seminars, meetings, coaching calls, and there's some things that like really, like, I hear them a lot and they don't click until, like, there's some that I hear like 2 years later, 1 year later, but I've heard it so many times and they kind of stack and like makes sense. And like I tell myself, oh, I already know that, but it's really telling me, you know that, but where is it missing? Right? So there's things that I heard for years and I finally like hear them like years later, like, that's what I need to do with that. That's where I'm missing in my life. That's where it's missing in my golf game. That's where it's missing in my coaching. That's where it's missing in my communication. And so I challenge you guys to, like, every time you hear that, it's like, oh, that's just the trigger to say, where else can I apply that and where is it missing? So again, we are talking about how do we hit our goals? Like, everybody on this call has specific goals. And, you know, first off on the goals, like, how do we even hit a goal? And I'll use our flashcards here. It's, if you ever heard of clarity is power, right? And if you heard of that, you can give a thumbs up on the chat here so we can make use of this chat. If you ever heard clarity is power, anybody heard of that phrase before? What does that mean? And I do want to get a little participation here. So again, I'm gonna do like some hot seats here, and I want to get a little bit of participation, and I want to get your insight to see where you guys are at on how you guys view clarity is power. If you have never heard that before, awesome. You get to hear for the first time. If you've heard it before, you kind of understand what that means. I'd like to hear what you guys are hearing there. So clarity is power. What that means is you want to be crystal clear on what it is that you are shooting for. What is the target? What is the goal? Clarity, clear. It means if I want to go to Hawaii, that's kind of clear. It gives me the state. But being crystal clear, I still got to jump in an airplane. But clarity, the more clear, the better, right? Me getting to Hawaii sounds pretty clear. But also, I want to go to Kauai. A lot more clear. It's an island in Hawaii. If you've never been to Hawaii, Kauai is an island in Hawaii. Getting even a step further and deeper, I want to be in Lihue on the island of Kauai. So going another level deeper into like the city. And we can even get clearer than that. I want to be at the Marriott Hotel near the airport or near the Kalapaki Beach in Lihue on Kauai in Hawaii. So now we have 3 different destinations. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to Kauai. And I want to go to Lihue in Hawaii. And I want to go to the Marriott in Lihue, Hawaii. Lihue, Kauai, Hawaii, California. All of it's in Hawaii, but how you get there is going to be different depending on where you want to go, right? Different airlines takes you to Hawaii. Many different routes. If you want to go to Kauai, there's specific flights that go there. If you want to get to Lihue, once you get to the airport, there's specific routes to it's a city, so you go wherever you want in Lihue. And if you want to go to the Marriott, very specific, right? And so clarity is power is because if I wanted to be at the Marriott in Lihue on Kauai next to Kalapaki Beach, because that's a beautiful resort. It's right on the beach. They have a nice pool, convenient location, no traffic around there. And all I told myself every day is, I want to go to Hawaii. We may end up in Hawaii. It may take us longer to get to Hawaii, but we may not end up at the Marriott in Lihue. We may end up at some other place in a different city, right? So I know it kind of sounds simple, but when we start thinking about your golf game, you going to Hawaii would be the same as you saying, I want to hit the ball better. It would be the same as I want to shoot lower scores. It would be the same as I want to make it on the golf team. It would be the same as I want to make it on the varsity golf team. It would be the same as I want to enjoy myself more on the golf course and be happier and, you know, keep it as a fun game, right? When we start so broad, like that's not clear at all, but it's more clear than just going to golf, right? So I want you to start thinking about like, how clear do you need to get and how clear is your vision of where you want to be in your golf game and what it's going to mean to you to get there. Because if you're not clear on where you exactly want to go, and more than where you want to go, if you're not clear on what it's going to mean to you when you arrive there, then you're probably not going to get there because you're not going to do the required and necessary things to get you there, right? If you like the island life for vacation and you just say, you know, I love the island life, I love the laid back life, and somebody bought you a ticket to Samoa and you didn't want to go to Samoa, but it's the island life and it's a vacation, you are not going to move that much to go and get that ticket to Samoa, right? If somebody said, well, how about the island life out in the Bahamas? And you really didn't want to travel across the country that way and you really want to go to Hawaii, but you weren't clear. But you said, I just want the island life. Somebody get you a trip to Bahamas. You're not going to move very much to go get that trip, right? And it's the same. You have to associate like what's pulling you towards what you want, right? There's always a reason why you want what you want. Why do you want to hit the ball further, right? You always ask the questions, why? You start asking those questions. It's always what followed by why. Normally we stop, like when we start looking at like clarity and like, what is it do I want? We always start with like, what? And most of us stop at what? I want to hit the ball better. Oh, but we forget to ask why. Why do I want to hit the ball better? Oh, I want to hit the ball better because it makes me feel better when I hit it solid. Oh, I get to see it fly straighter. Why is that important that it makes me feel better fly straight? Oh, because it gets me closer to shooting a lower score. Why is that important? Because I've always wanted to shoot even par. I've always wanted to break 40. I've always wanted to make the varsity. Oh, great. Why is that important? Why is that important for me to make the varsity team? Why is it important for me to be a captain of the varsity team? Why is it important for me to shoot the score? Oh, because I really want to play college golf. And that would be my next step that I have to achieve to get to college golf. Oh, why is that important? Oh, because I always wanted to play a college sport. And I know it's going to change my entire world if I get associated in athletic sport in college. And my whole experience with my college education is going to be radically changed if I'm associated with a team and playing college sport. Why is that important? Oh, because now I'm going to want to go to school. I'm going to want to travel. I'm going to want to socialize. It's going to help me with my career because I'll meet some friends and teammates that I have for a lifetime, right? Why is that important? Because now after college, I have another life that I'm going to start, a new career, but I'll have all these memories that I'll have with these, you know, people that I've met that will be in sometimes not similar, but I'll be able to have these friends. And, you know, the big common things, we play college sports together, brought this bond together, spent 4 years together. You know, some of them, I might be on tour, they might be on tour. We may just be playing socially, right? And so the further deep you go, it's more than just, oh, I'm clear by just hitting it better, playing better golf. If you start attaching like what, why, and you keep on layering it down into why, like ask yourself why, right? Ask yourself why a minimum of 7 times, right? If you ask yourself, what do you want, followed by why 7 times, it's going to give you a pretty good idea of what is going to connect you to you following through. If you can't make it 7 levels deep on this one, and by the time you get 7 levels deep and it's just like a little surface answer, meaning like it make me feel pretty good and it'll be cool, right? You'll never get there, right? You have to have a connection to it, and it has to mean something to you. And so ask yourself, what do you want specifically? And as you start getting why do I want it, it's going to filter you down to get specifically what you want, right? Some of you on this call are getting into high school and want to make the high school team, right? You want to make a high school team, whether it's a high school team, whether it's a college team, whether it's a JV team, a varsity team, whether it's playing competitive golf. Like there's a thing that you need to see, and you need to know exactly what it is that you want. You need like the destination, right? And that is where clarity is. And so a few parts to clarity, right? We talked about the destination. So it's always asking, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Can you guys see that okay? Where is it that I want to go? What is it that I want to achieve? What do I want, right? It can be a lot of things. It can be like, I want to hit it 200 yards. I want to hit it 250 yards. I want to hit it where it draws every time. I want to hit it where I never top it. I want to hit in the air all the time, right? Whatever it is, where is it that you want to go? Right. And as you filter it down, there's a score that you want to shoot. I want to shoot this score. Why is it important? I want to make it on the golf team. What does it take to make it on the golf team, right? Where is it that you want to go? What's the end game, right, for what you want? And so always knowing like, where's the end destination, because that is the thing that you're working for. Whether you're setting the goal for 1 week, 1 day, right, a month, 3 months, a year, right? You have to know whatever the time period is, like, where is it that you want to go? Most of us stop at that place right there. So we just think, I want to set a goal because I really want to get here, wherever that here is. Again, college golf, maybe it's for this quarter, it's playing and competing in a tournament, winning a golf tournament, shooting your best round of golf, right? Making a birdie for the first time, making the most pars of your round, maybe having a round of golf that you don't make doubles, like bogeys or max, or whatever that may be. It would be like where you want to go. We often forget to ask the question, where are you now? And what that means is, where is your current reality? Because if you don't know where you are now, it doesn't matter if you know the destination. Because if we go back to, I want to go to Lihue, I want to go to the Marriott in Lihue, Hawaii, and stay there, but I don't know where I'm at. It's going to matter whether I'm in California. It's going to matter whether I'm in Texas, Florida, Japan, China, the Bahamas. It's going to matter where am I at now, right? We can be like, I'm in California, I want to get to Hawaii, to the Marriott Lihue on Kauai, Hawaii. But it's going to matter whether I'm in San Juan Capistrano, Orange County. It's going to matter if I'm in Mission Viejo, Orange County. It's going to matter if I'm in Los Angeles, California. It's going to matter if I'm in Sacramento, California, right? We forgot to ask, where am I now? Where is my current reality? Because how does that pertain to golf? We want to achieve really big things in golf, right? We have big goals, but we often forget to say, where am I at now? We mix that up with saying, I was here last week, so I should be here today. And we start practicing and we start hitting, and we might be on the golf course like, oh my gosh, I'm never hitting it like this. I can't believe like this never happens, right? We start to use terms like that, like, oh, this is off. My game is off today. It never happens. Like this is like a once, like all that practice and shouldn't be here, right? And the reality is, if you continue to again, it's language, tell yourself that it's not real, then it's like you're trying to get to the destination that you want to get to from the wrong location. And the map that you'll use, the strategies that you'll use, the tips that you'll use, the swing tips the self-talk that you're going to use is all going to be incorrect because you're not coming from the right spot. The moment you can assess the fact that, today I am thinning it or topping it more than where I thought I'd be. So the reality is every time I hit it, I'm topping it. 5 out of 10 balls, I'm topping it. Where do I go from here, right? You need to know, where's my next step? That's how you hit goals. We need to hit, we need to find our, where am I at now? Where do I want to get to? So you can determine, like, my next step is right here. I just want to get right there. And then what's my next step? And then right there. And we're trying to juggle sometimes. Like, I want to get way up here, but I'm way down here. But I think like I'm way right here, but I'm actually down here. But like last week or yesterday, I was like this. And we can't accept the fact that today we're here. And so we're doing the drills, and the next step, we're trying to get here, like one step up, because that's where we think we are, but we're actually way down here. We're missing them. My actual next step is here, right? And I know it sounds kind of like simple, but that's the things that go on in our head all the time. We get there and we're struggling, and we're like, the one thing that holds us back the most is the roadblocks and the challenges that come in the way. And the truth is, can we hit the same roadblock again and again? Yes, it depends where your current reality is. Like, sometimes we'll overcome these big struggles, like, oh man, I never like slice it anymore. And all of a sudden, like, you hit a week and you're slicing it. And if you can't accept the fact that you're slicing it today, your next step is not going to be the next step that you're looking for. And you're never going to get there. And then it's going to cause a lot of frustration, because now there's a huge gap from where you're at, where you think you are, and where you actually need to go. And so that disconnection is where frustration lies. And so always know where you want to go. In addition, always know where you're at, your current reality. What is going on today? What just happened when I played 9 holes today? Not where I wish I was or where it's supposed to be. And we get rounds where, like, I didn't play my best round today, and I just didn't show up as myself. That's true, right? Maybe we didn't show up as ourselves. Maybe we were a little bit off. But we have to get a little bit further and deeper behind to say, yes, I understand. I didn't show up as myself. It's not my normal self, but who did I show up as? What shots was I hitting? What got me to shoot the scores that I hit? What was the quality of my shots? Because it doesn't matter who I showed up as. We want to live in a world of facts. What actually happened? Because if I know what happened, I can then find my next step to get beyond that. All right. So going a little further on clarity, right? Know where you're at now, know where you want to go, but where's the destination? Everybody on this call, if you do not know already, you need to know where you want to go in a year. If you think of, like, imagine 1 year from today. All right, this is something you should do every quarter, at least. Every quarter, to make sure you don't get off pace, you should be thinking, if you don't understand every quarter meaning every 3 months, right, every 90 days, you should be sitting down and writing in a journal saying, 1 year from today, if it was August 13, 2021, where do I want to be? And the reason why we do it every 3 months is because our interests, the direction that we want to go, the pace that we're going to go at, the speed that we're going to go at, we're always going to be changed. So we don't want to wait a year and say, like, yeah, I got there, but I really didn't want to go there. So every quarter, you should always be journaling 1 year ahead. If it was 1 year ahead and I'm looking backwards, thinking that the best year of my life just happened, what are the possibilities of where I could be if every decision I made was the right decision? If every opportunity I took was the right opportunity and the best opportunity, and it all worked out, nothing held me back, and I had no struggles, what would that year look like, right? You start to create the endless possibilities. And if you do that every quarter, you're never going to be lost in finding where you need to go and going in the right direction, right? So if you think about the last year, all of 2019, did your Did your goals, did your outcomes slightly shift from last year in the summertime? Did we all expect, COVID to hit and, quarantine to happen in the spring and not know what's going to go on with school coming up this fall? Nobody knew that. But did that shift where we might be next year, right? Would that possibly, right? And so if you don't ask yourself these questions, you're going to be sitting on the same goal that may not be the goal that you want. So it's always like, how often do you need to be seeing the place that you want to be a year out? You should be seeing that as much as possible, right? And then revisiting it every single quarter to make sure you're going the right direction. Again, worst thing that's ever going to happen is you're going to hit the goal that you want and you really didn't want to get there and it's a year ahead. It's not too bad if you hit the goal in a week and it's not what you wanted, but if you waste an entire year and you get there and it's not what you wanted, it's not going to be as fulfilling as you think. So 1 year, always every quarter, think back, think forward. Like imagine a year ahead and the perfect season went by, the perfect year went by. What does that look like? What else does clarity look like? It looks like 3 months. Do I know where I want to be in 3 months? It's our 3 month is the cycle and the season that we live in. Why is 3 months so important, right? Again, we always when we think about goals, we do our best not to think of it from where we're sitting today because we're blocked. Every time we're trying to look forward, there's too many roadblocks that we see and we limit ourselves to what we can do. And so always imagine 3 months ahead, looking back and say, wow, this was the perfect 3 months. This is what I've achieved. This is what I've accomplished, because that's going to give you the possibilities that you're looking for. So 3 months, extremely important, because if you live in the world of 3 months, this is like where you live 3 months at a time. And if you could start to chunk down like your life and your golf and your plans into 3 month, 90-day, call them 90-day sprints, because 90 days is far enough out into the future where you can think of the possibilities and make really, really massive targets and goals. And you have enough time to get there. Beyond 90 days, if you try and think of your 1 year goal and say, yeah, I want to get there in a year, right? I'm shooting 82 today and I want to shoot 68 in a year. I want to go from 10 over to 4 under. In 1 year, I can do that. It's so far ahead that when it comes down to like, I got to start practicing, I got to go, get some coaching, I got to go play more golf, you're going to be like, I got time, I'm going to do it next week. And if you've ever said that, I got time and I'm going to do it next week, that tells us we're not seeing our goals enough. And the goals that we're looking at is too far in advance, right? If you ever had a homework assignment or a project that you had in the beginning of the year that you had the whole semester quarter to do, a lot of times you might have said, I got time, I'm going to do it later. Versus if you got just as hard of a project or paper and you have a week to do it, you all of a sudden say, I don't have time, I better work on it today. Right? So 3 months, far enough into the future where you can dream big and you can set these huge targets, but not far enough where we can say, I got time. Because if you say I got time and you miss a day or a week, you're already behind, and now you're going to be struggling to hit that goal in 3 months. So 3 months are the seasons, because in 3 months, we'll always break it down to, if you know exactly where you want to get to in 3 months, you can easily find out where you want to get to in 8 weeks, right? So where do you want to get to in 8 weeks, right? And you start to reverse engineer, deconstruct it backwards. Like if I get here in 8 weeks, then it makes 3 months possible, right? So you give yourself objectives and targets to hit to make sure you're being checked. Because if you know where you want to be in 8 weeks, now all of a sudden, this week matters, today matters, and we take it a step further. And then we say, well, if I know where I want to get to 8 weeks, I surely can find out where I want to be in 4 weeks. And now when you think 1 month ahead of today, creates a ton of urgency, and then it creates Like, man, I got to get to 4 weeks to get to 8 weeks to get to 12 weeks. And if I can hit 4 weeks, I'm right on pace and I'll be able to hit this no problem. Or it goes the other way. It's like, man, if I miss this, there's tons of pressure in 8 weeks that I got to catch up. So it creates a ton more urgency in 4 weeks. And then if you know where you want to be in 4 weeks, then we know where we need to be in 1 week. Now we got 7 days ahead. At the end of the week, for me to get to my 4-week target, right? At the next 7 days, what do I have to accomplish, right? So when we set goals, it's not like feel good things. It's not like learn some concepts. It's actually action and results. What result do I need to have accomplished to be done in 1 week? Now all of a sudden, man, how many days am I going to need to accomplish this objective? Me practicing for 7 days or 5 days is not an objective, right? That's just me spending time. Me saying I never want to top the ball after 1 week, that's an objective. For me to go on day 7 and say I'm going to hit a bucket of balls with 0 balls top. I'm on day 7. I'm going to go on day 7. I'm going to be there and I'm never going to slice the ball out of the entire bucket of balls, right? On 1 week. And so now all of a sudden, tons and tons of urgency when you know what you can do at 1 week. But we take it a step further. If you know what you need to do you need to get done at the end of the week, you can surely determine what you're going to do on day 1. So when we start to think, what do I do today? If you don't know this, it's hard to figure out what we're going to do on day 1 if we are not clear on where we want to be in a year. It's hard to determine where we're going to be in a year if you don't know where you're at now, if you don't know where you're going to go, if you don't understand clarity is power. That is the power of being clear, right? Knowing where you want to go, where you are now, your current reality, allows you to see where do we want to be in a year. If you know where you want to be in a year, then you can bring it back to 3 months or a quarter. We can bring that back to 8 weeks. We can bring that back to 4 weeks, right? That's 2 months and 1 month. We can bring it back to 1 week. And the big question that everybody has is, what do I do on day 1? If you've ever showed up to golf and went to go hit some balls and you were not sure what is my goal and outcome that I need to get on today's practice, meaning I'm not just going to hit balls and work on a drill. It's actually saying at the end of today, day 1, whatever day that might be, it's saying, did I get closer to my goal at the end of the week, which means I got closer to my goal at the end of 4 weeks or the month, which means it got closer to 8 weeks, which means gets me a step closer to 12 weeks. Did I get closer at the end of 1 day? If you can't answer that question, that means we are not clear on what exactly we want and where we need to go. And as simple as like this sounds, this is where all of the work is done. Right, it's spending time, like to go through like what we just talked about, clarity in like a year plan, and deconstruct that backwards. That's not sitting down and writing in some journals and spending a couple minutes. Like this is like the deep work that we actually start thinking about and planning. Like when we look at the highest performers, look at like people on tour, they don't get there by mistake. And every step of the way, like on the professional tour, they get there because they know every step that they have to take. And the players that are the best in the world, the top 5 players, top 10 players in the world, have so much clearer picture of where they need to be, how to get there, than everybody else. All right. And so if you want to win at this game of golf or this game of life, or just get yourself to accomplish anything that you want, right? It's, again, clarity is power. It's getting clear on exactly what you want and spending the work, right? So like some of this stuff, like what we just went over here, you might be spending, I wouldn't say it'll be hard to sit down all at one sitting, but like maybe reserve like 30-minute blocks every day until you kind of map out this like this clarity on where you actually want to get to, so you can bring this thing back to today. Like, a lot of times we think like the work that's needed to be done is learn the swing drill and go and practice that swing drill to hit the shot that we want. And if we don't know where that shot is connecting to, if we don't know the value of the shot, of like, how does that fit? Like this swing drill that I'm doing, I never want to top it. Or I want to hit these perfect draws. I want to hit it further. I want to hit more greens in regulation, make more birdies, make more pars, shoot lower scores, shoot in the 30s, shoot in the 70s, shoot under par. If we don't know where that fits in the puzzle of like the map, then we're going to be lost and we're going to be working on the wrong stuff and we won't know if we're getting closer. So again, like, I'm spending a lot of time on this because I really want you guys to grasp and understand like the power, and like this is the work that nobody does, and they shoot for like, I want to learn how to swing, I want to learn how to hit it better, and that person achieves the better shot, they achieve the better swing, but they don't get the exact thing that they were looking for, right? They end up getting the better swing, the better shot, and achieving it, and then saying, man, I thought I would have been further than this over the last year. Because we can all look back at the last year of our life and say, am I better today than I was 1 year ago, right? And all of us on it, like if you're on this call, that means you want to get better. That means you've been working on your game. And if you say, yeah, I'm better than a year ago, you can look at what areas am I better than last year, than 1 year ago, right? And then if you're saying the question, like, if you had the question like, man, I thought I would have been further by now, like you can see that you had tremendous growth in the last 365 days or the last year. And if you're saying like, man, I thought I would have been further by now, that means we weren't clear on exactly where we want, because we're actually, if you look at like the amount of detail of how far you got, all of you probably have gotten tremendously further in different aspects of your golf game, right? And so again, don't leave it to chance to say, will I, am I gonna hope to get better? Or like, how about I just know what I want, the game that I want, the type of lifestyle that I want to have with golf, the quality of the game that I want to have, and just know that like, this is what I want, and then design your way to specifically get there. So that is my segment on clarity. Got a couple more things, but I do want to give a little break right now. So we're going to go on a little hot seat again. If I call you on a hot seat, anybody want to volunteer first? I'm not trying to punish anybody. I just want one to open up communication and participation, but also I understand that for some of us, it's not comfortable sharing and speaking. And so one of the things we always want to do is we want to step into and lean into things that aren't comfortable, right? Because learning a new golf swing is not comfortable. Learning a new motion is not comfortable. And if you get comfortable with the uncomfortable, that's a habit and a skill, right? You're just working through things that aren't comfortable. If it's not comfortable, then that's the stuff you should be doing, right? Get really good at that. And so, anybody want to raise their hand? Yes, thank you, Trent. I'm going to call on Trent. Trent, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. So I'm going to volunteer you to share. What was your takeaway from, I know I went kind of extended on that one, but like share with us, what's your takeaway? What did you hear there?
From this lesson?
From that lesson on clarity.
I guess what I took away from it is, even though you may think you break down your plan a lot, you can always do it more and simplify the steps to make it look more reasonable in a period of time.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
Awesome. And I'm going to go to Micah. Micah, you there? Oh, Micah, are
Oh, it
you?
wasn't unmuting. Yeah.
All right. So,
Okay.
what did you say there in that little segment there? To share with everybody.
Say, what did you say? I had to go outside real quick.
Oh, what did you hear in that little segment that we had there in Clarity that you can share?
When you have a plan, you have to like consistently look at where you're at to see if you're on the right track to meet your goals. Otherwise, your plan will like never succeed. So you always got to consistently check in, see where you're at.
Yes, I love it. Consistently check in. I love it. And so, really good. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And Alexa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
How about you?
Well, just like make the plan, or no, like, what was I gonna say? Make sure you know what you're doing and like stick to that plan, I guess.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah. So for sure, make sure definitely you got to know what you're doing, and then you're committing to that plan. Thank you for sharing. All right, so really good. Giselle was on here, and looks like we got cut off. So I will get back to her as we're getting in there, right? That's like the foundation of getting your goals, right? If you don't know where you want to get to, you won't get there. And the work comes when you start breaking it down until like your next step. If you know what your very next step is, then that is a bite-sized piece that is very achievable. And then you can say, can I get there in a day or in 2 days or at the end of the week, right? Then you start giving yourself these objectives, right? Do you guys all know the difference between goals and objectives? You can type it in the chat. You do? Can somebody share with me what's the difference between, I see you shaking your head. Yes, Alexa, what's the difference?
Goals is what you like want to do, I guess, like what you want to do in the future. So like, I could be like something big, and objective is just like the whole thing, the big picture.
Okay, I like it. Close, but
Okay.
that's okay. Well, I'm gonna share with you guys. Trent said it here in the chat. All right, so thank you for sharing, though. I love it, Alexa. Trent said it in the chat, right? Objective is a hard deadline. That means we set a goal. If we don't hit the goal, my goal at the end of the month is to shoot 72 from the championship tees, and I don't hit it. If it's a goal, we just push the goal out. Okay, so my goal now is going to be 72 in the next 30 days. Right? Goals are pushed out, right? So goals are a bit casual. When we use objectives, right? Objectives are going to be something you either do or you don't. So it's going to be like a hard yes or a hard no, right? If we have an objective that we got to hit the ball 150 yards by day 5, when day 5 comes, you're either hitting the ball 150 yards or you're not. If it's a goal, it's no big deal that you didn't get there. You push the goal out to the next one. Okay, when do I think I can get it there? Right, so having an objective is giving you a different sense of what's required, what's urgent, right, of urgency. Looking at like your goal for academics at the end of the year, for some of you, it would be, I want to get an A for the year, right? You really won't know because you're working into that goal. And if you don't get the A at the end of the year, it's like, well, next semester I'm going to get the A, or next year I'll get the A. An objective would be something like, man, I want to pass 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. I want to pass. I got to get a C or better, right? Pass, make it to the next grade. That would be like an objective, because there's no like pushing that forward if you don't get it. It's like a hard yes. If I don't get a passing grade, I have to repeat. Versus if I get a passing grade, doesn't matter what grade I get, it's on to the next one, right? A test that you get, that you take, gives you a grade. That grade is an objective, right? If you want to get an A for the year, which is your goal, your objective then becomes, I need to get A's on my test. So when your test comes, I have 10 tests throughout the season or throughout the semester. If I get a B, did I get an A? Then the answer is no. It puts more urgency on the next test that I got to get an A, right? So it's like, yes, I'm on pace, or no, I'm not, right? So it's a yes or no. What? So awesome. So you are setting goals, but you're also, setting objectives to start to give yourself checkpoints, right? It's a yes or no. Hitting the objective keeps you on pace. No, like doesn't keep you on pace. Hitting the objective lets you know you're on pace. Missing the objective knows that you're not on pace, right? And you got to change and pivot. All right, next. For hitting our goals, right? I love this term. It's a bit vague, and I'm going to explain, but it's to live powerfully. What does that mean, right? To live powerfully. It's going to mean a few different things, right? And I'm going to explain. How do I live powerfully, right? If you think of being powerful, you guys all watch movies? Yeah. In every movie, there is a hero. Whether you're watching like a superhero movie or you're watching just a show, there's some kind of like good guy in the movie, right? So there's always a hero. And so think of like, when we watch movies, we always kind of think, oh, it's so fake and like it makes me feel good, right? But if you think of like, you want to be the hero or the superhero, that's how you live powerfully. Like if you can become the hero or superhero, right? So now you might be thinking, well, Superman, I can't fly. Wonder Woman, I can't have these powers, right? Batman, like I don't have all these gadgets, right? If you extract all like the supernatural stuff that they have and you just look at the heroes and superheroes that you see in movies or even just films, right? The good guys and the people that are doing good, like what are the qualities of that person, right? You extract the flying, the nonsense, the fancy cars, the special like tools and stuff that they have, the gadgets that you take all of that away and you just look at like, what are they doing, right? When you live powerfully, you are like extracting those things. So as much as like, yeah, I can't be Superman because I'm not that strong, or I can't be Wonder Woman because I don't have those powers. Like, what do they do that makes them so powerful? It's not necessarily the power that they have, it's the commitment that they made, right? It's the fact that they're doing the things that they say they're gonna do, right? And so when you become the superhero or the hero, what do they do no matter what? There's a few things, right? They act decisively. What does that mean? Right, that means they make decisions very quickly. The house is burning. I'm going to go in there, or no, I'm not. Oh, the building's falling down. I'm going to go help that person right now. I'm not going to go eat my lunch. I'm not going to go lie on the beach first. They kind of jump to it. They see it and they just go, right? So I know it sounds kind of like made up and funny, but like if you put yourself like, how do I act powerfully? Like be the hero or the superhero, right? Not the special powers, but what is their real special power? One is their ability to act decisively regardless of their mood, their feelings and emotions. So I want you to write that down. Having an ability to act decisively regardless of your moods, feelings and emotions, because when we don't act decisively, we live in a world of maybe. When you are a powerful person, like a hero and a superhero, you are living in a world of yes and no, right? What does that mean, a world of yes and no? That means when something comes up, it's going to either be a yes or a no, right? And a powerful no goes so much further than a weak, non-committed yes, I guess I'll help you kind of thing. Or yes, I guess I'll go ahead and practice because I said I was gonna do it, right? You're better off saying like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do this, right? Act decisively, regardless of your moods, your feelings, and your emotions, right? Your emotions, a lot of times, and your moods and your feelings, they dictate what you're gonna do, right? They often dictate us living in a world of maybe. Like, what do you want to order for lunch? I'm not sure. What are you gonna order? Right? That's indecisiveness, right? And you wait for everybody else to order. What do you want to do today? I'm not sure. What do you want to do? Right? These are like little habits that pop up, right? And even though they're in little things like ordering food at a restaurant, or they're with your friends casually, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to go to the mall? Do you want to go to the mall? Right? These little patterns of like indecisive action, they funnel over into the things that happen. Like now when we want to all of a sudden turn it on and say like, oh, I want to get good at golf. I got season coming out. Now I got to go practice and I got to train. And you're going to say like, well, I said I'm going to practice. So, I guess I'll practice, right? That's a weak yes, which means you're better off saying like, no, I'm not going to practice. I'm going to spend my time elsewhere, right? But your moods, your feelings, your emotions are going to start to tell you like, should I do this? Do I need to do this? Would I rather be doing this? Right? So make decisive, just be really, really good at acting decisively. Just yes or no, right? A lot of times we want to explain to ourselves or explain to other people like, do you want to go to the mall today? I wish I could, but I got this other thing going on. I really want to go, but I gotta go. It's like yes or no. Just say no, right? And then move on, right? The moment you can be decisive and move on, then you can always course correct, right? If you get stuck in the middle, right, of that hesitation, right, the same things are gonna happen in your golf game. How do I read this putt? Which way is it gonna break? Maybe it's a little bit left. No. I see that hill. Maybe it's a little bit right. I don't even know. Let's just aim straight. No, don't aim straight. Pick a side and go, right? Does it mean you're going to get it right all the no, but it's going to allow you to move forward, right? And if you move the wrong direction, it allows you to see very quickly if you went the wrong way, and you can then pivot and reshape the direction, right? So these decisive actions that we have and acts that we do, like to be decisive, they come everywhere, right? If you want to have it where you're decisive in your golf game, what should I hit? Oh, I'm going to grab a 7-iron and hit this one because I know 7-iron does that. As opposed to, are you going to play powerful golf and you're like, well, my 7-iron could do that, but if I really hit it good, it might go over. But if I miss it, it might go in that bunker. 8-iron, I got to swing a little bit harder. But when I swing hard, I might thin it or toe it or might chunk it a little bit. Oh, puts me in the bunker. But sometimes when I swing hard, it slices. I don't even know. Dad, what should I use? Friend, what should I use? And you just grab something and go, right? Or would it be better just say like, oh, this yard is, grab this thing. I'm hitting this. You hit it. Goes on the green, perfect. Goes in the bunker, perfect, because at least now you know. Goes over the green, perfect, now you know. When you get stuck in the middle and then you just make this indecisive decision, it could go good or bad or sideways, and you would still leave the situation, did I make the right decision? And we do not grow from there, right? So be really good at acting decisively, like yes or no. 7-iron, boom, grab it. Nope, not a 7-iron, 8-iron, hit that. Wind, oh, that's a 7-iron, right? Not the whole like, should I aim here? Should I aim there? Right? And start with the daily habits. If you're indecisive, ordering at restaurants, then you should be the first one to order every single time you get there. Hey, mom, dad, give me the burger. Because if it's not the right thing, you can say, you know what? I don't feel like eating the burger. Can I change my order? Right? You can always switch it up. Right? If somebody asks you for plans, what do you want to do today? Oh, we should go to the beach today. Let's do that. Which beach? Oh, let's go down to this beach over here. What time? Oh, 2 o'clock. Perfect. Let's go there. Start making the decisions and not being the one, like, train yourself to be decisively, right? It's not a hat you turn on, right? It's a way of, like, living. It's a way of being that just say, like, be decisive, right? This is what we're going to do. And this is what I'm going to do. And this is why I want to do it. If somebody comes out like, I don't really want to do that. Okay. What would you like to do? Right. Be decisive, even in questions. Well, I'm not sure what I want. Yeah. Perfect. We're going to the beach today. Right. And so start to take control, right, of your decisions, and that will take you so much faster. Finally, right, how do we be powerfully, right? One is act decisively in spite of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Second thing to be powerful is keep your word. What does that mean? Keep your word. Keep your word means whatever you say you're going to do, you do. Sounds pretty simple, but here's an exercise that you guys can think about. Think about, like, over the last 30 days. If you can think about the last 30 days of what just happened, how many things, and again, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I can go back 30 days and I'll have the same kind of results as you guys. But think about the last 30 days. How many things did you say, or how many actions, how many things did you commit that you would want to do, that you were going to do, and was going to happen that did not happen? Meaning, I said I was going to do laundry and I did not do it. I said I was going to clean my room. I didn't do it. I said I was going to go swing the golf club outside and I didn't do it. I said I was going to practice 3 times and I went twice. I said I was going to write in my journal and I missed a day, right? Think about all those little things, right? I said I would do the dishes. I said I was going to put my plate away after dinner and I did not, right? I said I was going to start my book and I did not, right? I said I was going to finish my book and I didn't. All right, think about last 30 days. What does that look like for you on all the things that you said you would do, and not even commitments to other people? Like, look at the commitments that you just made to yourself. And imagine now if you were to complete the things that you said you were going to do, would you be in a different place today if just in the last 30 days, everything that you said you would do? Golf. I told myself I would learn and not slice the ball in a week. Did that happen? Yes or no? Right? Act decisively. And it's always like, well, I couldn't find days to practice. It's like powerful. Yes or no? I said I wasn't going to top the ball. I was going to fix my top shot this week. Did we do that? Right? Because when we start to make these commitments and keep your word, it goes beyond the amount of time that we practice, right? We start to see what are the things that we're committing that we're going to accomplish, the things that are measurable, that it's yes, it's done, or it's not, right? And if you can think about where you would be if you did everything that you would do in the last 30 days, would you be in a different place, right? Now cut that in half. Just imagine if you did 50% of the things that you said you were going to do that you didn't do. Half of that, would you be in a different place, right? And for all of us, right, we would be, right? Because those are the little things that start to stack and compound. But if you can imagine, like, what it would have looked like just doing 50%, half of the things that you committed to yourself that didn't do over the last 30 days. But now if you imagine, man, if I did only 50% of the things I committed and said I was going to do in the last 3 months, would I be in a different place today, right? If I went through COVID doing the things that I told myself I was going to do with my golf game, would my golf game be in a different place, right? Golf courses may have been closed, ranges may have been closed, but if I said I would have practiced 5 days, or work on my swing, work on my chipping, work on my putting, right? Would I be in a different place today, right? We all would, right? It doesn't matter what caliber. The point is, we all start to commit things to ourselves and tell ourselves we're going to do things. But all I want to get you guys to understand is I want you to see what's going on, right? To be able to understand like, ooh, this is what's really going on. And if you can see what's going on and you can say like, oh, I said this, but I didn't do that, right? Because the days that we're going, like, we want to work so much on golf and we want to get to places, but our ability to act decisively means I said I was going to practice putting in the house for 5 minutes for 5 days this week or every week, and act decisively in spite of moods, feelings, and emotions. I'm a little tired today. Are you really tired? Where we can't do 5 minutes, or does that mean I should not have made that commitment and it just would have been a no, right? So they all work together, right? And now think about the last year, all of the things that you said you would do, you did not do, cut that in half. And if you just did that over the last year, where would you be today, right? So you're imagining it's a totally different trajectory if you just did half of the things that we would do over the last year. If we did 25% of the things that we told ourselves over the last year that we would do, we would be in a different place today, right? And if you can understand that, right, keeping your word to yourself is really huge, because now when you look forward the next year, if I just do what I say I'm going to do, where could I be? And that limit, the possibilities are endless, which means don't say you're going to do everything. Say you're going to do less. Make less promises, less commitments. Just build the habit of keeping your word. And then you will build the habit of saying, I'm going to go study for this test today. And boom, you go study. You study the test. I'm going to study the test to open up more time for my golf game. Boom, you just did that. I'm going to go practice my golf because I don't want to three putt anymore. Boom, you just did that and you no longer three putt. I want to not top the ball. Bam, you put in whatever the required work is to not top the ball in the next 7 days. I want to hook the ball every single time and I want to do that in the next 3 days, or whatever you say, then you actually do, right? There's no time frame, unlike results. What do you want? And then you just go out and do it, right? Whatever it takes. But it also means you're committing to less. Can you help me with, somebody might ask, I might ask, oh, are you able to help me with, these planning today? You're going to act decisively and say, sometimes you're going to say, I'm sorry, Mom, I can't help you. Or I'm sorry, friend, I can't help you. I'm sorry, Dad, I can't help you today because I have my own priorities that I set for myself. So like, commit to way less and make sure you fulfill the commitment, which means if you're always fulfilling and creating the life that you want, that means you're acting decisively and not pleasing everybody. So sometimes it's going to be politely saying, I'm sorry, I'm not available. Is there another time that I can help you? That's acting decisively. I'm not available. As opposed to, I don't want to make you feel bad. And yes, I'll do it. I really can't do it, but I'm going to do it. And then you get pulled away, and which means you don't keep the word that you made, that I'm going to go practice, or I'm going to go study, or I'm going to read my book, or I'm going to go call my friend. I'm going to set up a tea time, or whatever it is that you say you were going to do, because we give in to pleasing everybody. Take care of yourself first, so then you create the time to take care of the people that you care about later. All right, so that is living powerfully, being able to keep your word, be the superhero or the hero, keep your word, and act decisively in spite of moods, feelings, and emotions. All right, I want to get a little bit of feedback, so we're going to go right around, and we'll start with Alexa. Are you there?
Yes.
All right, Alexa, tell me what you heard there.
I heard a lot of things. I just have to be like, you have to know what you want to do. So like, don't make like a big long paragraph. Like you said, if someone asks you if you want to go somewhere, you say, no, I can't because this, just say no and like be confident with the answer.
Yes, very good, Alexa. All right, off to Trent. Mr. Trent, what do you hear there? Trent, you there? Trent is not there. Hold on. Trent is not available, or I can't get him off mute. I'm going to go to Giselle.
Hi.
Oh, tell me what you heard there.
What?
What did you hear there in our last segment?
I heard so to keep your words, so like for example, stop procrastinating and just do it. Cause when you say when you're gonna do it, just do it, because if you would not be doing it now, then doing it 15 to 30 days before. So
Yes. Oh, for sure. So just do it now, right? Do the things that you commit to do. Procrastination, that's a big thing for a lot of us, right? Like certain areas I procrastinate in, certain areas I don't, right? Just like everybody else, right? Like you would procrastinate in some areas and you would not in others. But how do you overcome procrastination is you just tell yourself you're going to do it by a certain time, and then you just go ahead and do it. And if you live by like these principles, right? Act decisively in spite of the feelings, the moods, and the emotions. Those are the things that's going to sway you to procrastinate. And if you know that, then you just do them anyways, right? It's uncomfortable when we have feelings and emotions, and it's for everybody, right? If we tend to procrastinate on stuff, it's a skill to go through something that's uncomfortable, meaning go and do something when everything in our body is saying like, I want to wait till later, rather do this. But you do it one time, you start to train yourself not to negotiate with your mind and your emotions. And then you just go, right? So thank you for sharing this.
no problem.
And so like going on like procrastination or like just not negotiating with your mind. If you guys have ever jumped in a cold pool or a cold ocean or cold water, something, right? And you knew it was going to be cold and it was freezing. If you stood there looking at it and saying, holy smokes, this is going to be cold, I don't know if I want to jump in. The longer you wait, what do you think happens? You're going to wait even longer and you're going to talk yourself out of it. But if you break the pattern and you say, holy smokes, that looks cold, and before you finish the sentence cold, you just jump. You hit the water and you go, oh, that's cold. And then you say, I did it, and it's done. And then you'll do it again. So then the next time you see a cold pool or lake or ocean, it's not going to be as hard as the first time because you've already done it, right? It's a skill that you get through. All right, so Mike, I'm going to get you on the next one. We are running close on time. I'm going to respect your guys' time. So moving on here is how else we're going to hit our goals and make sure we fulfill them every single time. I have 2 cards left, and the one I'm going to be picking is, boom, your identity equals your behavior and actions. What does that mean? Your identity equals your behavior and actions. So that means you need to have an identity of who you are showing up as in whatever it is that you are doing. Identity, who are you? Or we all have an identity. But I want you to understand is we have different identities. We have an identity as a friend. Who are we as we show up to friends that are classmates? We have a specific identity there. Who are we as a sibling? We have an identity there because we don't act the same as a friend with our peers versus a sibling. Who am I as, who's my identity, or what's my identity for like a child, being a child to mom and dad? What's my identity as a golf teammate? What's my identity as a golfer? What's my identity as a somebody in school? What's my identity if you play another sport as a tennis player, track player? What's my identity if I'm playing a musician, right, or an instrument? Where we have different identities, but what you have to do is you have to define your identity. How do you do that? You just make it up, right? Who is it that I want to be? That's it, right? Don't leave it to chance of like, yeah, I want to be a golfer, and let somebody else shape that identity for you. You want to be a golfer. I want to be a world-class golfer. I want to be a varsity player. I want to be a collegiate golfer, captain. I want to be a scratch golfer shooting 72 from championship tees. I want to be a champion golfer, right? You create your identity, right? And so if you do not yet have an identity, you need to have one. You're not just the golfer. It is, what kind of golfer are you? Because you need to know who you are showing up. If you just say, I'm a golfer, then when you show up, you're just a golfer, right? What could that be? It could be a 100 shooter, 150 shooter. It could be somebody that just picked up the club for the first time. That is a golfer. It could be a tour professional, but you wouldn't be able to define the difference, right? So when we look at our identity, who is it specifically that you need to be as a golfer? I need to be disciplined. I need to be respectful golfer. I need to be a committed golfer. I need to be, right, you're putting language in front of like what kind of golfer. I need to be a hardworking golfer. I need to be a high performance golfer. I need to be a result oriented golfer, right? I need to be a even par golfer, or not I am, right? We talk in the present. So when you're creating your identity, it's always in the present. You speak it as if you were, right? And so, actually, hold on one second because my computer's about to die. And so we always speak your identity as if you had already become this. So I am X, whatever that is. I am a golfer. I am a disciplined golfer. I'm a world-class golfer. I am a master golfer. I am a champion golfer. I'm a championship golfer. I'm a scratch golfer. I'm a golfer that gets up and downs from everywhere. I'm a golfer that hits it 200 yards. I'm a golfer that only makes pars and birdies, right? Whatever it is that you need to speak to yourself, right? And if you don't yet have like who you are, an identity created, right? You need to create your identity. That's how you become who you want to become. And if you haven't already, it's something that you would write every day. Like if you want to become something and create an identity, it's not something you think about once. It's something that you think about every single day, right? And so I'll use the term ESD. What do you think that stands for? It stands for every single day. There are things that are ESD that we need to have in our lives. Our identity. We just don't magically get shaped into an identity. You create the identity. And if you don't create your own identity, somebody else will create it for you. If somebody else creates your identity, I guarantee you it's not going to be the one that you want. So shape your identity and speak as if it's already here. I am whatever it is, the identity that you're going to do. But speaking is not enough, right? So we also have your identity equals your actions and behaviors. So lots of times we might even say, I want to be a varsity level golfer, and I know the varsity golf shoots even par for 9 holes, 36 from their market, right? So I'm making this stuff up, but let's say you know that you keep on telling me, I'm a varsity golfer, I'm going to shoot 36, I'm going to hit it 250 yards, and you keep on repeating it every single day. Will that happen? That will not happen. No, that won't. All that's going to do is hype you up and get you crashing down. So identity equals behaviors and actions, because now if you say I'm a championship golfer that wins golf tournaments shooting even par 72 from championship level courses, equals your behavior and action. What behaviors and actions am I doing that align myself with that identity? Because if you say I want to be a scratch golfer, championship golfer, but now you look at your behavior and actions, meaning, no, I practice golf once a week for 30 minutes. Does that align with a championship scratch golfer? It does not. So you will not shape your identity by doing that. You need to create your identity and then align the behavior that is necessary to become that identity. So if you want to hit the ball 200 yards, 250 yards, 300 yards, what is the behavior of me hitting my drive 300 yards, 250 yards, 200, whatever that is? Oh, person that wants to, that means I'm working on driver 90 or more % of the time. Am I doing that? If it's yes, boom, aligning behaviors. Oh, that means I'm working on driving and contact only. Am I working on that? If I am, yes. That means I'm working on ball flight patterns, hitting hard hooks. Am I doing that? Am I able to do that? Yes. Or you're checking, I'm working on swing speed. Do I have my club speed fast enough to get that way? Right? Am I working on specific things that are getting me swinging it faster? Am I doing that? Yes or no? Or we start to look at what's the behaviors necessary to take me where I want to get to. If your behaviors and actions do not line up with the identity, you'll never get there. But if you're creating a world-class identity and you start to do the behaviors of that identity, I want to be a PGA touring professional and play for a living and win the Masters. Actually, win the PGA Championship. That just happened last weekend. You can say that, and then you can just automatically look, oh, who won? Colin Morikawa. What does he do that got him to win? Oh, that's what he does. He practices this amount of time, works on his game with his coach this amount of time, takes a break like this. He hits the ball this far. He plays golf this many times on the golf course, right? You start to look, what is the behaviors necessary? Right? We often set big goals that I want to shoot, I want to go from 90s to 70s. That's a huge goal, right? Or I want to go from mid 80s to 70. That's still a big goal. Breaking 80 and shooting to 70 is a huge goal for 18 holes. But when we look at how the behaviors, how often are you, I'm practicing golf a lot, but then you ask, how many times am I playing golf? Do those behaviors line up? I play golf once a month. Do people that shoot in the 70s consistently, do they play golf more than once a month? The answer is yes. The people that shoot in the 70s at that caliber, anything in the 70s, play at least once a week, twice a week. They play, and consistently, not once a week, once in a while. It's like once a week forever. It's just part of their lifestyle, right? If you want to become the person that shoots the scores that you want, you have to look, what do I need to do, right, to get there? And then you start aligning those behaviors. Does that mean you're going to get there like right away? No, but you start to build in the habits, because that's what's going to fast forward you to get there, right? A lot of times we say, well, once I start playing better, I'm going to play more on the course. Once I start hitting it better, I'm going to want to practice more. No, you put the time in first, and then you create yourself to hit it better. You schedule the rounds of golf first, and you start playing twice a week, every single week, 3 times a week, every single week, and you go shoot the scores that you're currently shooting, and then you learn the skills to place in those rounds of golf, because now you're doing the behavior that's necessary to create results. Right? We often work backwards and say, once I'm ready, I'll do that. No, you do it in advance, and then you become ready. Right? So this is like the magic ticket to get to where you want to get to faster. If you haven't done it already, who are you? Who do you want to become? Write it as if you are already living it, and just align the behaviors. How often should I be hitting balls? How much of my game should be working? How much time should I be spending on the golf course? how much tournaments, if that's a phase that I want to be in, do I need to be playing, right? And again, we're living in that 90-day window. So it's even like building your 90-day sprint in the next 90 days. Like, what does it look like for me in the next 90 days? How many rounds of golf? How many days of practice, right? And you're creating, right? Again, it's never by chance that we hit goals and we hit targets. It is by design. We create the game that we want. Tiger Woods, Dustin Johnson, Colin Morikawa, who just won, like all of these guys that are super successful, is never by accident that they got there. Like when they hit it, they're not surprised that they win these tournaments. They're like, man, finally, like finally I got it, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, I won this week. What do I do? It's like, yes, I finally did it. Like, man, it's about time. Right? Putting in the work, we create the results, right? When we shoot our best scores, it is because you put the work in and you did it, right? The easiest way to see what behaviors do I have in place right now, right? If you want to know what behaviors that I have in place right now, the easiest way to see that in your golf game is to look. What results am I getting today in my golf game? That's it. Our behaviors are aligned with the result that we have today. And if we don't realign the behaviors, thinking better and getting more like technique is not going to get us the game that we want. We need to alter the behaviors and the actions to align with the identity. If we're not happy with the golf game that we have today, then you have to align the behaviors to match up first, right? If we're practicing a lot may not align with the behavior because it might be designing and strategically designing what you're going to be practicing every day, for how long, the specific like drill that you're going to be doing, the outcomes that you're going to be hitting if you're practicing a lot, right? So the quantity isn't always the part, right? Sometimes it's the quantity, sometimes it's the quality, sometimes it's both, right? It's seeing where am I at now, what am I currently doing, because whatever I'm doing is giving me the result that I have today, right? As we're learning new things, you got to put like the technique, the tools that you're learning in the right like machine. And the machine that we're talking about is like your behaviors and your actions, right? If you're getting the behaviors and action to fit like the type of golfer you want to become, then the tools that you use, the swing drills, the tips, the training environments, all of that stuff, they fall into place and then they work. But if you're using like, you could be using Tiger Woods' best swing drill, and if you don't have the behaviors and actions and the machine to put it in, you're not going to get the same results. All right, most people can't get to the level as Tiger Woods because they don't have the same type of behaviors as Tiger. All right, so your identity equals your behaviors and actions. And last one, I know we're running low on time, so I'm going to bust through this thing. Last one for hitting our targets and goals, making sure we always and guarantee get there. It is we train for certainty. What does that mean? What does it mean when we train for certainty? Certainty is something that we always have. A lot of times we train and we were looking for confidence. I wish I had more confidence when I went on the golf course. The difference between certainty and confidence is confidence can be lost. Certainty cannot. So understanding like when we train, when we practice, when we build our skill, we're not doing it for confidence. Confidence is created from the certainty that we have. What's certainty? I am certain that the sun is going to rise tomorrow. No matter what happens, that will not change. The sun is coming up tomorrow no matter what. That's certainty. I'm certain I have a right hand. No matter what, I'll always have a right hand. I'm not confident that the sun will rise tomorrow. I'm not confident I have a right hand. I'm not confident I'm wearing a hat. I'm certain I'm wearing a hat. Certain I have a right hand. Certain I have a ring in my hand. Not confident. So when we start training for certainty, what do you have to do to be so certain that confidence is never questioned? Right? What level of training, practice, commitment do you have to take so confidence never becomes an issue? Or we start talking about like, I want to perform at a, like, I want to break 40 for the first time. I want to shoot in the 30s for 9 holes, right? Being confident is I want to be confident enough so I can shoot 39. So you're doing all the things for you to get to 39, which means when it comes time to play, if you are just confident, is there a chance that you may not? Is there a chance that you may not get 39 if you're just confident standing on the tee box on hole 1? Yes, there's a chance. If you walk up and you prepare to make sure, man, what do I have to do so no matter what happens, I will never shoot in the 40s? Totally different type of environment. What kind of scores do I need to be? Because when you step on that first tee box, you are 100% certain you are not shooting in the 40s, which means it's going to be in the 30s. When Tiger Woods tees it up, he is 100% certain he will not shoot in the 80s at all for 18 holes. He is 100% certain that he is not going to shoot above 77 or 76, whatever some of his high rounds may be. Right? So where do you have to take your game to make sure that you're so certain that you'll hit the numbers, right? If you're shooting for 39 and you're looking to be confident, you're looking to do what is the necessary thing so I am able to have the quality of golf shots to get 39. That means I'm hitting it a certain way. It goes a certain distance. It means I'm putting it and certain putts are going in. I'm hitting some solid shots. But it also means I could still top it. I could still slice it. I could still hook it. I could still hit it in the bushes. I could still 3-putt from 10 feet. But if everything lines up, I'll get that 39, right? You're doing like the bare minimum. But if you want to build the certainty, what do I have to do to make sure that when I tee it up, I'll never shoot over 40? That means I'll never 3-putt from 10 feet. That means when I play, I'm so certain that I'll finish with the same ball and I won't have penalty shots. That means when I hit it and I hit it offline, I'm still in a good place and opportunity. That means even if I hit it into the trouble in the trees, I know I can get out and scramble and make bogey at the worst. And so we start to think, what do I need to become certain? So when I tee it up on the golf course for the first time, or whenever it is that it matters, that without a doubt, you're going to get the result, right? That is where you start to train until you don't do things. It's your training until you no longer slice the ball. It's your training until you no longer top the ball. It's your training until you no longer hit little basic bump and run chips from off the green to further than 15 feet or further than 20 feet, to give yourself always opportunities. Does it mean that you're going to do it every time? No. But you've done it so often that the chances of you fulfilling on that is nearly guaranteed. All right. And so when you start to train for certainty as opposed to just being confident, if you train for confident, you get, if you've ever been where you're working on ball flight and you said, I don't like slicing the ball, and you get the day to the range and you get a really good day practicing on the range and you're not slicing the ball, you're hitting these nice little draws and perfect drives out there, and you go to the first tee fully confident and you slice the first one to the right. What happens to confidence? You no longer have it. Now you're questioning, oh my gosh, what did I do? I thought I don't slice it. Or maybe you hit really good drives and 3 holes in, 5 holes in, you slice one and like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Your confidence. And then the rest of the holes, you can't drive it. Did you lose skill? No, you lost confidence, but you never had the certainty to drive. So change the principle of what am I searching for? What am I practicing? What am I training for? Don't train for confidence. Train for certainty. Your certainty creates the confidence. Like for you guys here on this call, you guys are in a place where you can be 100% certain that you would stand up and you would never miss the ball. Would you agree? You wouldn't whiff the ball and just swing air. And so that would drive confidence, meaning like you're so confident that at least you're gonna make contact and hit the ball. But think of yourself the first day you ever played golf. Were you certain or confident that you were gonna hit the ball? You wanted to be confident, but you weren't certain. You build the skills to be certain, to say like, well, I'll never miss the ball anymore. And so it's not even a consideration whether you'll miss it or not, right? And so when we start building skills, and the tools and skills that you need to get the results that you want, then get to a level of certainty. So you're not going to lose confidence, right? So train for certainty, not confidence. So to recap of what we did today, really good job on everybody staying with me. I love it. Clarity is power, right? What is clarity, right? Just being clear on the things that we want to do and where we want to go. That tells us where do you want to go. Beyond where you want to go, it's where are you now? What is your current reality? That's the one we always miss. Where do you want to go? Where am I now, right? The map is not good unless you know where you're at today. If you get clear and clarity, you can build where you want to be in 1 year. The only way if you know and you're clear where you want to be in a year from now, only then can you figure out your 3-month season, and that is where you live. We live in 3-month cycles. If we can get into 3-month cycles, then we can build it back to 8 weeks or 2 months. If we can get to 2 months, then we can build to 1 month. If we get to 1 month, then we know for sure where we want to be for the day, for the week. If we get to the week, we definitely are going to know what to do for the day and whether we are getting closer or further at the end of the day. Most of us start at the day. What am I going to do today? If you ask the question, what do I do today? That means all of this stuff earlier you have not done. The work that is required has not been done. You would automatically walk to your day as like, oh, I'm doing this today. Not the practice drills. I have this objective set. Like this is yes or no, whether I complete it or not, right? Objectives is what we set. Excuse me. After clarity is power, we figured out live powerfully. What does it mean to live powerfully? That means you want to be the hero and superhero in our movies, right? If we are the hero and superheroes, extract all the flying and the nonsense in there, but see like what do they actually do? They act decisively, right? They're going to save the world, save the people, act decisively despite thoughts, feelings, and emotions, right? If we act decisively, we live in a world of yes and no. So we're not hesitating and stuck in the middle like, should I do it or should I not? Look at the patterns that we have outside of golf. Can we be decisive and just say yes or no, right? People want help. Maybe I guess I'll settle, right? Remember, a powerful no is 100 times greater, 1,000 times greater, 1,000,000 times greater than a weak yes, right? Stand up for what you believe. Powerful no is so much stronger than something that you settle for and say yes. So act decisively in spite of your moods, your feelings, and emotions. Part of acting powerfully is keep your word. If you just keep the integrity of what you promise yourself you're going to do, the trajectory that you take off on is astronomical, right? Like imagine what would have happened in the last year had you did the things that you said you were going to do. And if you can imagine that, like look at what the possibilities over the next year is going to look like if you just do what you say you're going to do. All right. And talk about identity. Create your identity. Identity is created as if it's already happened, right? I am and whatever you are, right? Whatever your identity is. But identity needs to match the behavior. So if I am a PGA Tour golfer, you need to align the behaviors of a PGA Tour golfer. If I am an LPGA Tour golfer that wins, right? Championships, you have to align the behaviors to match up, right? Align the behaviors first of the identity, and then you will fast track your way to becoming who you want to be. We often fall in a place where we feel like we need to be ready to get there. And we say, not quite ready yet. I'm going to wait till next week. I'm going to wait till I hit it better. Then I'll do that. No, just start doing the things and make it work. All right, and finally, we train for certainty, not confidence. Be so certain that, yes, I'll never do that, right? You practice till you never do things, as opposed to practice till you get it. So build certainty, not confidence. Finally, we started our day with just language. What is exciting? If we were answering that question, it's the same old, nothing new is happening, right? Our language determines our behavior. If we are using, even in a casual setting, if we're using things like, it's so-so, or I wish it was better, right? Remember, it's work to extract things that are exciting. If you are not used to saying like, oh my God, it's an amazing day, it's a fantastic day, it's an unbelievable day, just start saying it and search for the things that makes it exciting. Search for the things, because if you search, you're going to find the things that are exciting. You're going to find the things that are unbelievable. You're going to find the things that are amazing. You're going to find the things that are outstanding. If you were to teach yourself to find the things that are exciting, outstanding, whatever you want the day to be, just starting with your language, you will find it. Imagine how much better your day is if you enter the day, enter the golf, enter your practice, enter relationships with your friends, enter conversations with your parents, enter anything that you want to do being excited. Entered anything you wanted to do being amazing. Entered anything you want to do being awesome, outstanding. All right, versus entering that same thing and saying, same old day, same old thing. All right, so never the same old thing. Every day is unique. Start with your language. Your language shapes behavior. Our coaching for tonight. I know we're a little bit over, so I do want to get one last little note from you guys. So we'll start with Miss Alexa. We went on the last couple segments at the end there. I know we covered a lot, but tell me what you heard. What is your key takeaway from this evening?
All of it or just like one thing?
Just one thing. What's your biggest takeaway?
Well, like you said, like no, like what'd you say? What was it? You said like know what you're gonna do, like plan out what you're gonna do and do it, not procrastinate and like stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Okay.
And Miss Giselle.
One thing that took me is your identity equals your behavior and actions.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How do you fit that for you?
So when you said we are all different and we all have our different traits that make us, you said, who do you want to be? And then an example was explain it, or my example was explain it in detail and saying, oh, I'm a golfer, then saying I'm a champion golfer, or I'm a high performance golfer.
Perfect. Fantastic. Thanks for sharing. All right, I'm going to swing you back to Alexa because Alexa. Oh, nothing was so exciting. It was just same old. But share your exciting. What's the really exciting news?
I got my braces off.
Oh my gosh, is that exciting or is that just whatever?
It's exciting, yes.
Does that make you,
Huh?
does that make you want to smile more?
Yeah.
The non braces?
Yes.
Yeah, is that just saying it's the same old day? Does that make you be excited?
Yes.
You just said it's the same old.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
You guys have a beautiful rest of the evening, and I will
You too.
have a good one.